Hello everyone, and welcome to our first BLM and Diversity Forum podcast. It is official, and we are joined here today by the lovely Donelle. So, Donelle, would you like to introduce yourself to the podcast?
So, my name's Donelle Grant, and I'm the founder of the BRAVE Project. The BRAVE Project is a suicide prevention and wellbeing service for BAME, which is Black, Asian, and minority ethnic boys and young men. And through public awareness and education, the BRAVE Project provides and empowers BAME boys and young men to reach out and ask for help when they need it without fear of judgment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Donelle, and it's lovely to have you with us today. Just to give you a brief introduction for who we are at USP. So my name's Ashley Butcher. I'm one of the co-chairs for our BLM and Diversity Forum, as well as working within our reprographics and making the college look pretty and colourful, which is part of my main role here at USP.
Hi Donelle, so my name's Nikki Hillebrand, so I'm the Student Services Manager at the Palmer's campus, and I'm also co-chairing the BLM and Diversity Forum with the lovely Ash. And Emmanuel?
Hi, I'm Emmanuel, and I'm Vice Student Governor at Palmer's College, and that's...
Matthew?
Hello, my name is Matthew. I'm a first year student in the student.
Cool. And Benici?
Hi, I'm Benici. I'm a student rep of Black Lives Matter Forum as well.
That's all of us. So yes. Welcome now.
Nice to meet you guys.
Lovely to meet you also. So yeah, I think one of the, because I know we've had quite a lot of conversations prior to this moment here in the podcast. So I think one of the really key things that we want, we kind of wanted to have a conversation with you about today, Donelle, is kind of us as an educational establishment and kind of ways that we can really put ourselves out there in a sense of showing the BAME community and all people of colour that we're not just here to tick a box. We're here through passion, we're here through drive, we're here because we've lived and breathed this story. How can we as an establishment provide that service to people and show that authenticity?
As an establishment, one of the things, going back to our earlier conversation, that you could do is having like a service user-led approach. So creating that space, creating that safe space, organising steering groups, having around the table, essentially, the voices of the people that matter, that need the services. Everybody matters, but in terms of, the health inequalities and mental health, race inequalities, the young BAME students that are on campus, providing a space for them. And like, as we said, it's not about those campaigns that might fade out, or it's about longevity. And you want to be able to reciprocate, to create again, and about legacy also. So I'd say bringing forward the people that matter, that you want to hear their voices, the ones in terms of support is not being the young men that are not accessing support, the young people that are not accessing support, and show them that they matter, that their voices matter. I would also say that representation, and I know obviously the work that you're doing at the moment, Ash, you're in the campus, the social media, the faces. So young people of colour, when they walk around your campus, they can see that things are being done. Because as we were saying before, in terms of racial inequalities, is not new, but what the issue is the lack of implementation. And so what's important is you need to show that you're actually taking that step and making those changes. And it's it's visual representation. And that is one of the things that we do throughout the BRAVE project. We don't just obviously facilitate those workshops and do the consultation speak to the organisation, but we also make sure that every single campaign that we roll out for our social media, it represents, there's a young a man of colour represented in those campaigns. So those students in your college that need to access support, when they say, for instance, if they're directed to the Brave Project, as soon as they go onto the Brave Project, they're faced with not millions, but every couple of posts, a young BAME boy or man, you know.
And I think that is so key, especially, you know, what you say regarding representation, because I think, you know, especially being a, you know, male of colour, a part of the LGBTQIA plus community as well, you know, I think there's nothing worse when you don't see that representation around you, and you kind of feel, especially when it comes to, you know, big corporate companies, for example, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, Black History Month, sure, they'll push a lot out for the month, and then it goes very silent. It's you know, we're kind of expected to become these strong people of colour that, you know, only have the emotion of being, you know, aggressive or tough. But it's like, no, we have emotions and feelings too. You know, we want to be represented all year round, you know.
Exactly. And that's why I said every conversation matters, every voice matters. It's about speaking to those people that you want to represent in your campaign, whether it's someone from the LGBT community, you know, someone from the BAME community, but not just special awareness days. I'm talking about continuously. So throughout the whole of the year, you know, when you, I'm sure, I don't know, when you do student enrollment and you've got like Freshers Week, you know, you provide that opportunity for that diversity group, you know, and these are the things that you're going to explore, because these are all of those communities that we just mentioned. They have accessibility issues, you know, and accessing services is so important. And with a lot of things, it's not that the issue is accessing services. The services are not created with the right support.
Right.
You know?
Can I just jump in, because Emmanuel was nodding along with that? Yeah. So what Donelle's saying, what are you seeing at our campus? What do we need to do better? I mean, you might be nodding because that's a lifetime of what you've seen, but, you know, what can we learn from this?
It was more like I was agreeing with when she was saying, talking about that we have to have representation in all parts of the college, and not just when it's October, Black Lives Matter, Black History Month, and it's all about how can we throughout the whole year make sure that everyone's voices are heard, not just because it's October we have to do something.
And I feel what's important as well, when you roll out these changes, and when you make sure your service is inclusive, when you do get things like Black History Month, the students of colour are more willing to step forward, because they don't feel like they don't feel like a minority, and they don't feel like another number. They don't feel like there's the tokenism is there. Do you know what I mean? You feel like, okay, well, the college is really behind us, and they're supporting us, and they're championing and, you know, pioneering, and they really want to make those changes. So Black History Month, we got this. We're gonna be behind all the way.
And I think that's very key as well, isn't it? It's especially, like, you know, when you get to Black History Month, it shouldn't just feel like, finally a month that I'm represented. It should just feel like, yes, we're here, we're part of everyone. This is our time to celebrate the equality, you know, rather than, you know, this is our only month to feel like we're represented. You know, I completely agree, 100%.
Yeah. As I said in the conversation earlier, I can see from conversations and that the college is really, they really want to make those change, and they really want to stand with their students. You know, the students of colour, they really, really want to make that change, and that is the first step. The next step is, you know, how are we going to make those changes continuously? about longevity, because we don't just want the tokenism, we don't just want the Black History Months or Black mental health. We want a continuous approach, and there are people like myself, founded the Brave Project, and other people of colour who are doing some phenomenal work in the background, who are in the front as well, and more than happy to come and to speak to the college, to speak to the students, to empower the students more.
Definitely, we'll definitely be in touch, Donelle. Are we okay to, I'm just thinking about your project linking with Movember and mental health and the wellbeing services and how we access them and how we, that kind of stuff. Are we okay to, and maybe hear from the guys about barriers to accessing mental health support? Is that right, Donelle?
Yeah. What my question for the young men on this panel or this conversation would be, what changes would you like to see in terms of your college, and what would make speaking about your mental health easier?
Who wants to go?
So in terms of what I'd like to see change in the college, I haven't had much experience just yet, since I'm just a year 1 student. Like I've just come in like September, so I'm not really sure on what needs to change just yet. But to speaking about my mental health easier, I've had mental health problem. Like everybody has some mental health problem like in their lifetime. It's not just if somebody has it, then you just have to highlight them that it's only them and things like that. Mental health, everybody goes through it, and so what I feel like is men especially, they feel shy to share their opinions and things like that about their mental health. And that's it basically for me.
What do you think, Emmanuel?
I agree with what he said. It's like it comes back to stuff like how men are supposed to make sure that they don't show the emotion and they don't show weakness, because everyone's gonna judge you, and that's what I feel like. The college is really good at making sure that you feel you're not judged, but there needs to be like more, as you said before, more representation, because I felt like when me and my friends talk about stuff like mental health, it's like people from ethnic minority communities don't have time to talk about mental health, because there's so much things that's going on that mental health is something that is for rich people or people with the money to go see counselors. I think it's more barriered off to a certain community. Stuff talking about mental health is barried off to a certain part of the community, and it's not for them. So if we can make sure that everyone knows that everyone goes through mental health, that's something that's supposed to be talked about, not on time-to-time basis, but always, that mental health should be on the front of everyone's minds, thinking about it's not only about physical, it's about mental as well.
Yeah, it's important. Thank you.
Benici, did you want to add anything?
Oh yeah, I do. I actually agree with what he's saying, because when you're talking about mental health to like ethnic minority groups, and these things can actually bring like toxic masculinity. Like you don't have to, you have to be tough, you have to be like a man and stuff like that. So I mean, I've seen student services that we can talk to, but during that COVID time, it was like we could only reach them through our teams and all that, and people may not answer and stuff like that. So I'm really glad to be back in school and we can actually talk to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. So face to face is
face to face.
Right.
I would just like to say it'll also be really nice to talk to people like that I can necessarily relate to as a person of color, like someone that will understand the struggles that I go through and tell me, oh, this is how maybe this is how they sorted it and how they felt, and maybe I could like show a bit of more show empathy and help me express myself not in such a closed manner.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? So Donelle, this is stuff you already have. You speak to a lot of young people, don't you? So
yeah, so through the Brave project, in terms of young people contacting you, we speak to a lot of young people, parents as well, actually, who you know, maybe needing to access services before it gets to that point. Some parents who are bereaved, who you know, bereaved to young people who've committed suicide. So there's a mixture, but one of the things that does come up all the time, and the work that we do, is we make sure that their voices are heard. You know, and there's representation. And as I was saying in our earlier conversation, being a Black woman, a Black mum who's raised in the London Borough of Newham, you know, it's an amazing borough, but we do have some deprivation. It's very multicultural. I have that knowledge and understanding, that the cultural awareness. So it has been really easy to you know, have those conversations, and the young men are able to relate, and then it helps them to open up. But it's providing them with the tools, because you know, I couldn't create campaigns and just kind of walk away and just have posters. I have to back it up with those conversations, providing them with those tools. You know, like you know, Emmanuel was saying about, you know, so Benicia, I think, was saying about, you know, you have to man up. One of the workshops that we're rolling out in February is called, you know, you don't have to man up, let's talk it through together. And that is something that is said quite a lot in amongst the BAME community. You know, it comes.
Sorry to cut you short. My question to you is this only aimed at people of color, or is this like, yeah, if you go on.
So in terms of signposting information and support, it can be accessed by anybody. We're a service for everybody, but essentially because of the rates of suicide and the fact that there isn't any services out in terms of specific suicide prevention for the BAME community, and obviously the COVID has exacerbated and, you know, increased those suicide risks, you know, accessing there's issues accessing mental health support as well, you know, because obviously there's more students now that need support, and we haven't had an increase in counsellors, and especially counsellors of colour. They are there, but yeah. So it is the support that I provide when I do the workshops, and when we carry out the workshop, it's aimed at students of colour, because those are the students that they find it difficult talking about how they feel. Whereas like I think it was Emmanuel was saying before, in terms of, it's almost like a postcode lottery. If you were raised from a particular social and economical background, then you might have access but to the Priory, or, you know, your mum or dad might have money or something like quite a lot of money. So if you fall down, you know, we pay for that sorted, but there's other issues, obviously, in the BAME community that affect your mental health, not just the health issues. It's not just the things that we can see in front of you. There's things that in the background that go on that that affect that also, you know.
Also, I was gonna say as well, like, what I think a problem is as well is that you're not, like, these organizations, they're not teaching young men, young women, whatever, how to be strong. Because if you're just saying that, oh, there's a problem and this and that, and you turn that problem into a challenge, and then you turn that challenge into a message for yourself to get stronger. Because me, I'm a Christian. I'm a strong believer in Christ, and when I read the scriptures and when I pray and things like that, you see that my problems start fading away. And having someone to turn to, having God to turn to is always the best thing for me.
Yeah.
And these organizations, because if you're saying that there's problem, but you're not telling them how to overcome it, then they can't. How they overcome it for their lives. It's not like a social status, if you know what I mean. It's not like, oh, I'm having mental health and it's just a trend.
Oh gosh, no. I think, well, Donelle, I'll let you speak, but there's a lot of work that you are doing, isn't there?
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, and I know a lot of, especially in the media, they highlight mental health, but they don't always talk about the solution. So it's not always solution focused.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is the things that we provide through the Brave Project. We through, I don't know if any of you have had a look at our campaigns up on social media. We always, like, one of the slogans that we put up is talking about your feelings. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you brave. And there's always sometimes it's difficult to speak to somebody because you might feel that your voice is not being heard, but there's always someone that you can speak to. So whether that is God, whether that is a counselor, whether that is a friend, but we're always encouraging, to have that conversation. And then we do actually provide access to contact numbers, texting numbers, emails for services that we know are accessible in terms of, as soon as you pick up the phone, you're going to speak to somebody. And what we do is we bridge the gap. So the campaigns, as I said, there's representation. So you get a young man from the BAME community that will be represented visually in the campaigns. And at the bottom of that, you have the telephone numbers. And what we found is the young person's more inclined and happy and willing because they feel that sense of connection. They feel like, okay, well, the person that's on this post on social media or Instagram or Facebook, they look like me. So, I'm going to call this telephone number. That telephone number isn't the Brave Project's number, but it's a number of a national suicide organization. So it could be Shout, could be Samaritans, it could be Switch, So we put the services out there that we know are doing phenomenal work. So we're bridging the gap. And then obviously ongoing, we provide the Wellbeing workshops, so that tools, because you need to be in a space, and you need to be in a space amongst your peers, and you need to feel comfortable speaking. Every conversation counts. No conversation should be ignored. Every conversation matters. And it's also we also provide tools on how to start those conversations up with other people. And it's not just people from the BAME community, it's people from all communities, because
it's hard, Donelle, isn't it? If you're not, just wanted to ask you guys, if you're not used to talking about your feelings, to suddenly start doing it's going to feel weird or uncomfortable. But I also wanted to ask you guys, how do you look out for your friends? Like, if one of your friends is struggling with their mental health, but you don't know it, but you might notice just something different about them. Do you think young men are good at that, like keeping an eye out for friends?
I feel like it's very easy to, not easy, but it's very, when your friends change their manner and the way they're acting, you can tell something's wrong, but I feel like we need facilities to help us to know what to do when we see these changes, because I could see my friends struggling, but I don't know necessarily how to help them, which is very frustrating.
What I was going to say as well is, when you have a plank in your eye, the wood in your, let's say there's something in your eye, there's two wooden poles in your eyes. How can you see what your friend is going through if you don't take him out your eyes first? You get what I mean? So it's like you need to help yourself first, and then the things that you did to help yourself, you help your friend too. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's very important.
Like, for example, with my friends, I feel like I'm good at seeing when there's a problem, and yeah.
That's good to hear. Benici, what about you? Do you think, I don't know, is it sometimes easier to check in on friends than checking in on yourself?
Oh, me, I was encouraged by friends to talk about whatever is happening to them. Like, I'll be like, bro, what's going on today? How are you doing today? Like, I always ask them, so we talk freely. I always know what's going on with them because they always tell me what's going on with them.
And that's a start, isn't it? I guess talking to a friend.
Yeah,
that's
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think... Oh, sorry, Donelle, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, not even just the friends that need to help, it's the strong friends as well. The ones, the helpers need help too.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's where it's kind of like, it's key, isn't it, to just have that conversation with your friends, and just a simple, are you okay, is all they need sometimes. All you need is just that, it's just, as Benici said, just say, yeah, how you doing? You know, you all right? What's going on today? I think even as you say to your strong friends, everybody needs those tools. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the key part, I think, of this entire podcast, isn't it? It's just sort of saying that we all kind of need to be given that strength, and all need to be given those tools to know what to do to then help the next person as well as ourselves, you know?
Yeah. And as I was going to say before, do you know what? You don't need to be a clinician, a doctor to save a life. Everybody can save a life. You don't know if, for instance, you leave college and you go to the train station and you meet someone and you smile at someone. That's one smile could actually give somebody hope. That one hi, you know, could save somebody's life. You know, or speak, for instance, I'd say, if there are any students on the college, on campus, that maybe you always see them on their own and they don't seem to have have gelled with any other students, or they might be new, welcome them in, have that conversation with them, because, you know, it's so important to show community, to show unison, to show that support, to show them love, because everyone's fighting a battle that you can't see. There's also many invisible battles, you know what I mean? And you could be that one person that would actually save somebody's life.
Yeah, for sure.
Kindness goes a long way, doesn't it?
And what I would like to say is always, like, earlier when you were talking about friends, there's one of the main problems I see is social media and video games and things like that, because once you're isolated in your own house, like isolated all the time, like when you were born, you weren't born with a mobile phone, you weren't born with a video game console in your hand or something. Like we were brought into this world with interactions with other people to have experiences as well. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's what starts at home, you bring it outside as well. And you bring it into like school and things like that. And you won't be able to communicate with others because you're isolated all the time. And
and it's good to communicate with others. I
feel like social media at times is a blessing and a curse. If you want access support, or you want some downtime because you've got a really busy job, then sometimes people go on it to just, you know, to just have a break. But obviously you've got bullying on social media. You know, you've got you see people leading certain lifestyles, and sometimes that is not how it is. And, you know, young people feel that they have to, at times, that they have to live up to these certain expectations, a lot of peer pressure. But we got to thank social media and technology for the likes of, we're able to have this conversation without actually being in the same room, you know. And what the benefits and the beauty of it. And like as Benici was saying earlier on, it happens at home. It does start with at home. You know, sometimes, you know, you get the isolation in terms of being on your phone all the time, and then when you go into the public on the train, you're on the phone, and in between your lessons, you're on the phone. Whereas, you know, I mean, I don't know if you guys have like phone-free zones in college. Maybe that might be, you know, don't shoot the messenger, but you know, it wasn't me. The person that decided to have a phone-free zone. You know, like libraries, they have phone-free zones.
Yeah.
And if you come into this zone, you have to speak to somebody, ask them how they are. Like it will trigger those conversations.
Yeah, nice.
I like that.
That's maybe something to think of, a phone zone.
Yeah.
And you don't. So every time you step in there, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And also it could be potentially, if you have those phone-free zone, you could go into there knowing that you need support, but without having to say you need support.
Right.
But once you come in there, you got like a peer mentor, whether you will be in there, just a student. Like you guys on this conversation today are absolutely amazing. You have a broad knowledge and lived experience. You know, perhaps you could facilitate something like that phone-free zone in a library, that when a student comes in, you know, they need to have that conversation. They need some support.
Yeah, I feel like that would be good, and also probably a zone, like a place for people to how can I say it? Because we need a place for people to talk to other people, not just about stuff that's happening, like a common conversation places, because I feel like here sometimes groups of people, I have groups of my friends anyway, will be in the canteen, but we will be told we have to leave because we're too loud. And then that makes us feel like, it's the loud black children that are making all the noise. It's always that. Or if any of us on the show, that any person of color feels like they want to be passionate about something, it feels like you're being aggressive,
right?
Or you're trying to, you're getting angry when you're just showing passion and you're really, I don't know the words to say, but you really want to care about it. So a place for people to talk, but not only talk, to maybe people have fun there, or have conversations. Because if you see a group of people having fun, like having conversations about it, conversations, and just come in by yourself, and then maybe can I join you, or do you want to join us? That's feels like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because I feel like in college we have a lot of quiet zones, but we don't have a lot of zones for us to express ourselves as much.
That's great feedback, Ash, isn't it?
That's incredible.
Yeah. I've just been really fired up with this whole conversation, because I think we've got a lot of work to do. There is a lot of mental health support here at college for anybody listening to the podcast, in student services at both campus. So do reach out if you're worried about yourself or a friend. But we're definitely going to be linking up with you, Donelle, because your expertise and your experience is just going to be invaluable. So I'm sorry, I'm just aware of time because these guys have got to get to lessons.
Can I just say one thing? Sorry, Nikki, before we go. If any students on campus do need support, it doesn't matter that your background, race, you can come to the Brave Project, contact us. We're on social media. We'll be able to provide you, signpost you to services that you need if you need to speak to somebody, or potentially provide you the list of organisations. It may not be mental health, Emmanuel. Do you know what I mean? It could be some some work or employment support within your community that you live in. You know, and just to say, you know, talking about your feelings, it doesn't make you weak, it makes you brave.
Perfect.
That's wonderful.
Perfect note to finish on, I think, Ash.
Yes, that is perfect. That is just, I've loved this entire podcast. It's given me so much drive and passion. And Donelle, I can't thank you enough, and all the students and Nikki, everyone here. You've all been incredible. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, guys. I'm really looking forward to working with you and supporting your students. And you guys are doing amazing, and you should be proud of yourselves. Thank you, Nikki, for having me. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Honestly, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. I really look forward to our future collaborations.
Yeah, and I'd love to, anytime you want, I don't mind coming down and having a conversation. Wonderful. You know, going into those no free zones, no phone free zones, and talking to the students. Being accountable in the so responsible. But yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. You guys are amazing. You're all amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Have a lovely, awesome day. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.